It's time to take a look at what's happening around Wyoming for Thursday, October 2nd. I'm Mac Watson, bringing you headlines from the Cowboy State Daily Newsroom. Brought to you by the Wyoming Business Council. Wyoming youth are our future, but they're leaving the state at almost twice the national average. What would bring them back home? You can share your bold ideas with the Wyoming Business Council at wbc.pub/story. More than 24 sheriff's deputies stood ready for immigration enforcement duties Wednesday in the Laramie County Board of Commissioners meeting room, waiting to be sworn into the new expansion of their roles. Cowboy State Daily's Steve Bonnell reports that not everyone is in favor of this program.
This is a pretty well-known program federally. States across the country use it to help, local law enforcement, help kind of the federal side of things with federal law enforcement. It's controversial in some states. Here in Wyoming, the State Highway Patrol participates, and Brian Kosak, the Laramie County Sheriff, said that they've had a good partnership with the ICE field office. The ACLU chapter of Wyoming is very against it. I got a statement today from Antonio Serrano, who's their advocacy director, saying that it's improper to use kind of local sheriff's deputies that could be doing other kind of law enforcement functions locally, do federal law enforcement. They think it's a distraction and that it really just doesn't help build trust within communities, especially immigrant communities. The ICE field director, Robert Guadian from Denver, that office serves both Wyoming and Colorado, said that actually a lot of people from these immigrant communities prefer working with ICE because the criminals that the 287G program intends to go after, in a sense, these are people that are terrorizing or victimizing communities that are mainly immigrant.
The 25 deputies will participate in the task force component of a program which allows the officers to work with federal authorities in enforcing immigration law and detaining people who are in the country illegally. A federal court on Wednesday sentenced a mother to 1 year and 1 day in prison for supplying guns to her son, who in turn killed Sheridan Police Sergeant Nevada Krinke in 2024. Cowboy State Daily's Jackson Walker was in court when Eileen Hurley's defense attorney had a request for her imprisonment.
Her attorney specifically called for a special facility to help care for her medical issues because she's dealing with a myriad of health problems such as diabetes, heart disease, kidney disease, and a plethora of others. She's also 71 years old, which her attorney argued is akin to a life sentence, sending her to jail with all of these combined medical issues. Judge Alan Johnson was sympathetic to these pleas and agreed that Hurley should go to a medical facility to help take care of her while she's incarcerated.
The federal courtroom at the U.S. District Court in Cheyenne was packed with Krinke family and friends, along with several uniformed police officers and Wyoming Highway Patrol troopers. A Wyoming outdoorsman took a break from elk hunting Tuesday and called a bull moose to within 10 feet simply by grunting at it. Cowboy State Daily's Mark Hines reports that Owen Miller said he's called bull moose in a few times, though the animal has never gotten this close.
He doesn't have a moose license or anything like that, but they're in the rut right now, or the mating season. And so he says he's kind of figured out over the years of doing this that he can grunt. He says you kind of grunt the word rump, and it works. He's had a few come in fairly close, maybe not as close as this one. This one got to within about 10 feet of him. And in this instance, which happened yesterday afternoon, it just worked very well. And the moose got right up to within 10 feet of him. And he said he finally just talked to it, just said, okay, that's enough. You need to go away.
Now, Miller had a similar experience during the same hunting trip on September 5th, when he called another bull in close, but not that close. As constitutionality questions around school choice persists in Wyoming courts, the state's Libertarian Party is publicly encouraging opponents to reconsider their stance on it, saying school choice doesn't need to be MAGA. Cowboy State Daily's Steve Bonnell says some are taking to social media to plead their case.
This is interesting, just a couple social media posts put out within the last week, one by the state's Libertarian Party and then their one for Americans for Prosperity. They're really just referencing school choice, which is a hot button issue in the state right now. The Wyoming Education Association has brought forward a lawsuit that's currently going up to the state Supreme Court. A bill was passed the past legislative session that allows for school choice, school voucher program, but the Wyoming Education Association and some of the parents of public school children say that this program is unconstitutional under state law. Both these posts were just trying to kind of say, hey, this shouldn't be a partisan issue.
The Wyoming Education Association this year challenged the constitutionality of a new school choice program offering state funds to families seeking alternative education options. Wyoming's congressional delegation declined to weigh in Wednesday on memes posted by President Donald Trump that mock top Democrats and used vulgarities. Cowboy State Daily's Sean Berry reports from D.C. that it's not surprising no one is commenting.
Wyoming's congressional delegation, U.S. Senate Majority Whip John Barrasso, Cynthia Lummis, junior senator, of course, and U.S. Rep. Harriet Hageman, they didn't want to touch this when I asked them for comment. These are staunch Trump political allies. Wyoming's 3 members of Congress are in lockstep with Trump on almost everything. They're not going to criticize him for this.
Both memes, one posted on social media Monday and the other on Tuesday, feature House Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries of New York with a fake sombrero and handlebar mustache. I'll be back with more news right after this.
Did you know 1 in 8 women will be diagnosed with breast cancer in her lifetime? Early detection saves lives, and regular mammograms are one of the most effective ways to detect breast cancer early. Find peace of mind and relieve the pain of not knowing where your breast health stands. Get your mammogram at Outpatient Radiology, where we are proud to put your comfort and care first. We find the answer for your peace of mind.
When the Laramie County Combined Communications Center experienced problems early Wednesday morning with its administrative and 911 phone lines, resulting in a busy signal for incoming callers, it posted an alert to the public on its Facebook page. Well, Cowboy State Daily's Scott Schwebke reports that people were confused by the post.
One thing it said in the Facebook that was kind of interesting was that if you have an emergency, go out and find an officer on the street or come down to the Cheyenne Police Department. And so immediately on Facebook, people that subscribed to their Facebook page saw that. And there was a lot of comments about, is this the contingency plan they have for an emergency? I mean, how do you find a police officer in the middle of early morning hours in Laramie County? I mean, it's not like you go into like LA, there's a cop on every street or something.
The Cheyenne Police Department later clarified that the message was an error and it was corrected. A multi-agency search for a man believed to have fallen into the North Platte River began about 2 a.m. Tuesday morning. Cowboy State Daily's Dale Killingbeck reports the search ended more than 10 hours later, and now the Casper Police Department has turned the incident into an investigation of a possible case of false reporting.
They had responded to a report of a man in the river. His brother reported that, said they'd both been smoking marijuana and drinking. Today, the police are saying that they're looking into filing a false report charge against this individual because they found the individual reported missing at his home and he was fine. And they believe that the person was on some kind of substance that he made things up. The police department isn't saying whether they will actually file the charges. They said they're looking into it. And I asked them about any reimbursement.
Department spokesperson Rebecca Ladd said the man was found safe at his home. Further investigation is continuing. When Jane Goodall died Wednesday at 91, the world lost an iconic animal advocate and environmentalist. Cowboy State Daily's Mark Hines reports that famed Wyoming wildlife photographer Tom Mangelson lost a dear friend.
He said he first met her about 25 years ago. She was there in Jackson for some kind of an event. And of course, even though it was a quarter century ago, by then she was already a legend. I mean, she had achieved legendary status. And he said, quote, I was nervous as hell the first time he went to meet her, but he said that there was no pretentiousness whatsoever about her. They just instantly connected. He took her on a tour of Yellowstone, showed her a lot of the cool wildlife around her. And
Goodall passed away in Los Angeles, surrounded by her family, according to a media release. And that's today's news. Get your free digital subscription to Wyoming's only statewide newspaper by hitting that daily newsletter button on cowboystatedaily.com. And you can watch this newscast each and every day by clicking subscribe on our YouTube channel or listen to us on your favorite podcast app. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Mac Watson for Cowboy State Daily.